Today I get to play with the new May 2024 Sheetload of Cards. Hey there, it's Beth. Welcome. It's time again for another Sheetload of Cards from Call Me Crafty Owl. The Sheetload is a monthly cutting guide, cut list, supply list, and sketch that Call Me Crafty Owl creates, and it makes a set number of cards. This month it does make 8. I'm going to be working with these gold foil patterns that I showed you and then some black cardstock. This is a collaboration, so there will be a playlist linked in the description box below for you to check out. I wanted to point something out. The sketch and the cutting guide, they call for some really thin strips that create that shutter effect on the front. And I discovered I wanted to add a black mat behind my paper since in one of the patterns there was a lot of white. And I discovered that I created some of those strips just by cutting my card mats down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So I just wanted to point that out, that if you want to start with card mats, like if you're using a cardstock that matches the strips you were going to use, start by cutting your card mats, because you're going to get some of those 1/4 inch strips, and then you're not going to get enough to get you through all 8 cards, but you will get a couple cards worth, and then you can just cut whatever else you need, and then that way you're using up those scraps from the card mats. Just wanted to throw that out there in the beginning before I got started. I'm going to assemble 2 cards with you, and then we'll do the rest off camera because it is, very much an assembly line. But I just started by putting the pattern paper panel on my card mat and then laying the rectangle down, and I realized that I cannot get those rectangles straight for the life of me just by freehanding. So they end up, the shutter effect of the strips kind of really called that to my attention, but they don't look bad. I could tell that I did not get mine straight. So if you have a tool that would help you make yours straight, then hopefully yours will be a lot straighter than mine. So once I get my rectangle positioned in the center of my card, I'm going to lay my strips down, and I just start on one side and leave the overhang. You can kind of see that there's some hanging off the edge, and that's fine. I'm going to come back and trim all those up at the end. But I just kind of worked my way around the rectangle with those strips, and then come back here and trim the excess of all of those off. And then once the strips are on, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my die cut. I have some die cuts that I had cut from scraps, trying to use up some scrap cardstock, and they were black, so it was perfect. I figured that would stand out on either of the patterns that would be that center rectangle of my card. And I like the scripty font. I kind of felt like it went, with the elegant feel of all the gold. So I'm going to apply that down. The hello is bigger, so I'm going to apply it in the center of the card. The thanks that I had, I think I orient that one towards the bottom of the rectangle since it's not as tall. And now that I have that element on, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my card mat to the card base. And then we will assemble the other version of the cards, which is kind of the reverse of the patterns. So while I'm doing this, I do want to take a chance to tell you more about Call Me Crafty Owl's Sheetload of Card sketches. There is a link in the description box below as well for you to check out, find out more information about the Sheetload, how you can download it, and a little bit more about Alicia from Call Me Crafty Owl. She does have a membership that helps keep Sheetload free. So if you would like, and you get some additional perks such as getting an archive, like the Sheetload archive, kind of at your fingertips rather than having to search through to find the one that you want. So there will be a link to her channel or to her video introducing this month's Sheetload as well that will tell you more about all of that. So please check that out if you haven't already. Sheetloads are so fun each month. I look forward to this. It's just her creative sketches, and sometimes for me, I like not having to design, you know, it's just kind of freeing to just be able to craft and let my hands work. And so I really enjoy the Sheetloads every month, and I always love her sketches. Just adding some little dots of glue around the backside of my hello word, and then I can get that one put down. And in today's video, I'm including 2 bonus cards that I created using some of the leftover scraps from the 12x12s that I used to create my cards. I'm all about not having to store any of the leftover scraps. So that is the other version of the cards. So here's my scrap cards. You're left with kind of a bigger square, kind of, or rectangle or square, depending on how you cut yours, and then a strip along the side. So I took that bigger chunk and cut that piece down into 4 1 3/4 by 2 inch rectangles, and I'm going to be creating a grid with those, and I just alternated the patterns on the grids. And then there was some 1.5 inch strips or 1 3/4 inch strips that I had left, and I just trimmed those in half lengthwise, so they were 1.5 inch strips. So I trimmed them to be 3/4 inches wide, and then cut them down to 4, so they're 3/4 by 4 inches, and those I'm going to use on the insides of all my cards. So again, I just have some die cut words here that I'm using as my sentiments on the cards, and that used up that big chunk of the scraps, and then we'll add the rest of the strips to the inside. And I'll just kind of show you here on these 2, and then I do go back and add them to all the cards from the actual sketch. I add them to all 8 cards as well. Here are the 8 cards that I made. I did 4 of the thanks and 4 of the hello. I kind of did 2 of each word on each of the patterns, I guess. I don't use gold foil very often, but I do like it every once in a while, just kind of as a pop of elegance in my life. So, and then there's my 2 scrap cards. Again, please be sure to check out the links in the description box below about the Sheetload, and to see all the other participants in the collaboration, and to see how they used the Sheetload. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a very crafty day.